Hi, this is Gautam. Welcome to the third episode of the Kerala book list. If you're interested in books which are set in Kerala, do look at the description for the playlist. And for the third episode, we'll be looking at the novel Chemmeen, written by Thakazhi Sivasankara Pillai and translated from Malayalam by Anitha Nair. The novel is set in the year 1956 and it captures the life of fishing community. The story starts with the love of two teenagers, a teenage fisherwoman Karitama and a Muslim teenage boy Parikutti. Their love is childish, it is pure and is devoid of physical contact. Karitama's father is Chemmeen and mother Chakki. Both of them are part of the fishing community and they live along the shoreline. Karitama also has a sister. The plot develops when the girl's father, Chemmeen, asks the Muslim teenager who owns a shack in the shore, Parikutti, for money so that he can buy his own boat. Now, point to be noted is, Chemmeen does not know that there is this love relationship between Parikutti and Karitama. He just asks him for the loan. Since he's a teenager, he's expecting that he will not be very particular that the money be returned. Parikutti lends him the money without expecting anything in return. But the point is, after he is able to purchase the boat, become an important person in the fishing community, earn really good money, he never really repays the loan. Karitama, under mother Chakki's insistence that the money be repaid back to Parikutti, falls on deaf ears. Chemmeen does not worry about it and he starts to plan for his own daughter's wedding with an individual whom he has recently met on the shoreline. He's a youngster who goes by the name Parani. He's an orphan, and even though he's an orphan, he's a very skilled fisherman. And since Chemmeen likes, Chemmeen really develops a liking for Parani, he decides that he would try to marry his daughter off to Parani. The fact that the loan has not been repaid affects both the mother and the daughter, but not the father. Now, the wedding plans are getting finalized, and there is one concept which recurs several times in this novel. The concept is the concept of a pious fisherwoman. That is, it is believed. There are several legends, but one legend is strongly believed that once a fisherman goes onto the shore and then the fact that he can safely return to the shoreline depends on the purity of his wife's heart. That the wife will have to be devotional, the wife will have to be pious. So during the wedding, there is an allegation that Karitama is not a pious fisherwoman, and that is the reason she is being sent away from the shore. Even though the allegation subsides and the marriage is over, the allegation continues to harm their marriage. The second part of the novel is about what happens post-marriage between Karitama and Parani. Credit should be given to author Anitha Nair for bringing the shores and oars to life. When you read through the pages, you get the scent of the salty seawater and you breathe the scent of the sand when you breathe the characters and walk along with them in the shore. There are several dimensions which are dealt in this novel, especially the concept of honor and purity. Though in modern times, several traditional aspects which have become irrelevant have kind of vanished. A good number of segments are still retained for specific genders. For example, honor and purity is severely associated with only the female gender, or should I say the women gender in India. And when it comes to men, there are no such restrictions. So you can see that is the interplay for decision making between characters, and that is the interplay for the individuals in the society too. So that is stressed several times. Like you take the legends, all the legends indicate that a woman should be pure, but you don't have any rules for the man. The author is able to brilliantly capture the effects of greed through the character of Karitama's father Chemmeen. Like when you try, it's not wrong to be ambitious, but when ambition tries to trump morality, when ambition tries to trump all societal ethics, then eventually you create a situation where everything crumbles. It is only because of his greed that his family collapses, that his wife dies. His daughter decides to leave him, and then eventually even a second marriage is not very happy. So the entire structure, how a series of decisions are taken only for improving your own financial position without not considering morality or ethics, definitely leads to death. And there is a subtle criticism on the concept of slander and gossip. Even if slander is something which is done playfully, not really intended to hurt anyone, with or without intention, when there is public slander, it can really harm an individual's life. And that is seen how the talk in the village regarding this single fisherwoman kind of affects her marriage. Even after the events are over, she leaves the village, she goes to another village, and the same slander follows her there, and that affects the relationship between the husband and the wife. The orphan Parni is again an interesting character because see, he really doesn't know, or he doesn't really know how things are to be done in a family, because he's an orphan. He's a son of the sea. He's brought up by the entire village. So the way he addresses his wife and slowly begins to understand that the wife was in a romantic relationship before his marriage. She had someone else in heart. He begins to accept it over a period of time, and then he decides that he should move on. Even though he's not entirely convinced, he's one of the characters who thinks about the future and is definitely ready to make amends and move on with his own life. So that was slightly different from several characters who were trapped in the past. So if you look at the women like the women, be it the mother, be it the daughter's position, the friend of the mother, all of them are trapped in their own minds, and not just their own minds, it's the the bars which are set by the own society. And since they do not have the opportunity to express their own vision, to express their own words, or you can say that they are not given an option to properly do what they want, the same situation comes back to haunt them over and over again. This story has stood the test of time. It's been several decades since the novel was written, and it still continues to kindle that sparkle when you read through it. So when you read the novel, you will understand why it's a classic and why it continues to live on for several decades since its publication. That's it for now. Meet you soon with a non-fiction in a few days' time. Thank you.